And welcome back to Mimas, with me, 54 Bear, the complete idiot on something that is not really the complete idiot's guide. Lovely Saturn morning, or morning view of Saturn, however you want to describe it. I have put the skeleton in place for where the advanced furnace is going to live. I've collected, I think, pretty much all of the components I'm going to need. Not going to do it just now. This is just a quickie. We are going to be making some fuel. We need fuel to run through the combustor, which is going to generate some very hot gas, and we'll be able to run that through the Stirling. Stirling is still generating reasonable amounts of power. Temperature's down to 380 now. I could just throw in a bunch of oxide and volatiles into the furnace, fire it up, pump it out, get it warmed up and increase the pressure a little bit. But to be honest, pretty soon we're going to have waste gas that's around about 2000 degrees, 2200, something like that. I did receive a suggestion that basically involves putting the combustor inside a hot box, kind of like we do with the furnaces, to keep them warm. And apparently that will make the exhaust gases even hotter. Might do that, but for right now, 2000 degree Celsius waste gas is going to be plenty good enough. And I didn't want to worry about creating another airtight room, pressure controlled, temperature controlled, and all that stuff for a few hundred degrees when, to be honest, I think we're going to be okay. We're probably going to have more hot gas than a single Stirling can manage. I may actually build a separate Stirling room, one with a slightly better design. Having all of these passive vents is probably not the greatest idea, including the radiators, as one of the commenters suggested. I'm sorry, I can't find the comment, so I don't know who to say thank you to. But anyway, putting in the radiators on those pipes. See if I go down here, get a slightly better view of their setup. Yeah, you can see them on the same pipes that the passives are on. That seems to slow down the warming up of the room. So that's another way of saying it makes the cooling more effective. So yeah, that was a very good tip. It's possible, it may even be better if I disconnect all of the passive vents that will just leave a certain amount of air trapped in there and rely on radiators to do the heat transfer. That may actually work out better. I may well create another Stirling room along that design and do like a side-by-side comparison, see how it works. Anyway, so minor reworking of the oxygen pipe just so I can get to the valve easier. So here we have input, and here we have input 2. Input 2 is the oxygen line, the white one. Connects through this heat exchanger to equalize the temperature with the volatiles. So the volatiles are on input, or input 1, so that's the one we want at 2/3. This is the one we want at 1/3. What I found useful, rather than tweaking the dial, just get the labeler and you can punch in, well, I don't know why it changed that, but make it all 6s, and that should be exactly 2/3. Anyway, that's the theory. Quick test of the gases. I mean, they were pretty much identical temperatures anyway. 0.068, 0.063. So, yeah. Off by a very, very small fraction of 1 degree. So, we turn that on, and we are getting a perfect mix of fuel. We're not going to get that much because I only have 2000 moles of volatiles. I have a lot more oxygen than I do. And obviously I had to wait until all of the nitrogen had filtered out. yeah, well, I used up half a filter getting all that lot done. So, yeah. Now, what I can do, I think, is just turn this on at the same time. And there we're getting our super hot gases. Now, it shows H2O at round about 10% as liquid, but I don't think that's possible. I don't think liquid water can exist at like 2000 degrees Celsius at any pressure. So, think of it as a rounding error.
Jetpack critical.
Oh yeah, I have to be careful because my jetpack's sorely in need of a refill. Yeah, so the pipe stress is hovering at around 0.2%. Shouldn't be anything to worry about. And the combustor is actually burning stuff at a slower rate than the fuel mixer is mixing it. So that's kind of good. So water is our primary concern. So I really want to get that done. One way of filtering the water out of here is to cool the gas down to a point where the water condenses. Not certain how that'll factor into the pollutants. I'd have to have a look at the phase change diagrams and wrap my head around it. And for some reason, I have a problem understanding them. I mean, I understand the basics. Water, freeze, boil, ice. And at a certain level, I understand that pressure does make a difference to what temperature water will boil at and evaporate at, and so forth. But it's when you're dealing with multiple gases at the same time, at the same pressure and temperatures, trying to figure out which one is going to go first. I don't know. My brain is just deficient in that area for some reason. Whenever I think I've got a grasp on it, I build a system to deal with it, and something invariably blows up. And not in a fun way. All right, so now we're building up fuel. Not a huge pressure, but we're certainly getting gases around the 2000 degrees. A little cooler than I was thinking of, actually. That might just be because of the low pressure. What does the tool thing say? Yeah, I wonder if I put a volume pump here to pump it out, whether that would improve things or not. Well, it's possible. Right, so water-wise we have, we have the water and we have the steam. So 72 moles, that's not a lot. So we'll just let that run. I'll run the volatiles dry. Looks like it'll take a while because it's only used up maybe a third of what we had. So yeah, it'll take a while to run down. But anyway, that's going to give us our water. The next thing is, how do we get it cold? Long term, I'd be running it through Stirlings. Short term, we're down to about 20 litres in this tank. That should last several days. I'm not going mad with the crops, so it is going to last a little bit. But once it's gone, it's gone. That's all I have, and the only way we have of getting any more is using the combustor. I keep using the jetpack, and I'm down to 39 kPa. Yeah, so maybe I ought to suck out all of this stuff. In fact, I think I will. I will nick some of the supplies I've got for my furnace. Well, 10 pipes will do. I'll want a pressure regulator, and I want some of that. So let's do it this way. Oh, you know what? I'm fairly certain I need a length of pipe between. All right, that'll do for that. Now, if I try putting the tank thing on top, yeah, it doesn't like it. So I can either go up one, or I can put it across. And I think I'll put it across because it looks funkier. Oh, actually, maybe not that one. In fact, let's get both of those off. And just to give it a little bit of volume. Right. And because it's just a regular, I'll just pump it up to 5,000. Okay. Now it's going to take a while because I did give the system a bit of extra volume with this pipe or this utility thing. That's just to make certain that there's enough volume after this in case the pressure regulator overruns. Although, to be honest, at 5,000, 5 megapascals, it's way below the burst pressure anyway. It's just something I usually do. Okay, let's get my tools organized. That will do. Right, just let that run. And in the meantime, let's check and see how the volatile supply is doing. Just under 1,000, so we've used just a bit over half. And we have a fair chunk of fuel there. And we're starting to get some pressure on the waste gas. Yeah, obviously I'm going to have to go out and do a lot more volatile and oxide mining. We're a long way from having self-sufficiency in oxygen and gas production. For that, I am going to need a medium-sized greenhouse, not as large as the one I had in the last build. And one of the other suggestions I had as well was for producing volatiles is you don't have to use the composter. I probably still will use it at some level just to increase the crop yield, at least while we're getting started. Either the yield or get the grow time down, just to get the initial efficiency up. But the suggestion that was made was actually using the arc furnace to process biomass. And biomass that's food or seeds or whatever that go through the recycler and centrifuge. I believe you can also do it using the gas furnace, but the arc furnace may actually be easier. So maybe I won't recycle the one I have left over, or that I started with. So yeah, that's the plan. Next thing is, cooling down the water. is going to be the most important thing, but pretty soon I am going to have to start building this. And as I've said, my intention at the moment is to make that a dedicated video that will follow shortly. But yeah, pretty much all of the components you see here are going to be used. I will actually have to go and get another pressure regulator because one isn't enough. But yeah, everything else should be okay. Join me for that next time. Like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Yeah, if you have any questions, please feel free to leave them in the comments. I love hearing from you. I've had lots of good suggestions. I haven't implemented all of them yet. There's a couple I want to play around with a little bit first in, probably in a creative mode game just to see how they can be best utilized. But anyway, as I said, let me know what you think in the comments. I'd be happy to get back to you. Thanks for watching. 54 Bear out.